Hello and welcome to Weekly MTG. Very different kind of Weekly MTG. We are streaming, as you can see, from our houses. Steve's at his, I'm at mine, and it's a weird time. It means a lot to us that you're all here to talk with us and share some things and chat about the strangeness of streaming from home and everything that's going on. So we're living in a trying, challenging, weird, difficult time. My wife and I know, and I know Steve's family too. We have little kids, and those kids are home, and she and I are both working, and that's difficult. And you know what? We're the lucky ones. We're the ones who both still have jobs, and our families are healthy. And even if you just look at the Magic community, just our little corner of the world, stores are having a difficult time. Uh, Players can't gather together and have fun. Judges don't get to judge events. Commentators are having difficulty being able to comment at events. Store employees had to go home, and more just having a tough time. And then you broaden that to the wider world, and it's even bigger than that. But we're not going to be all grim here on Weekly MTG because you know what? A lot of things that people need and want right now are things to look forward to, things to be happy about, games to play, new things to be excited about, ways to help their local game store. People are playing games, finding ways to stay connected, and yes, they're looking forward to things like previews for Ikoria. Now, we aren't doing any previews today, but we are going to talk about Ikoria and what all of this chaos means for that set, um, and what it means for some things we're doing for local stores. So we are not here to fix everything, but we are going to do the best we can to help our little corner of the world. And we are hopeful that maintaining some kind of normalcy around streaming, around holding events, around our games, that offers some comfort and togetherness in the coming weeks. So we're going to spend our time on this show talking about kind of two broad things. One is stuff we've already announced, stuff that's going to be new about how the state of the world is affecting Acorrea, local game stores, that sort of thing. And the second part, a little more fun, we are going to be talking about, you might see at the bottom of the screen below, further below us, it says Django. It says Django at the bottom of the screen there. Those of you who are into magic fiction are going to have an inkling of what that means. And so we're going to get to that in the second half of the show. We're going to talk to one Django. So I'm seeing a lot of thoughts in the chat about people who have lost their jobs or who are looking to help their local game stores. So let's talk a little bit about things we can't control first, and then things we can control second. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the release cadence for Ikoria. Earlier this week, we canceled all sanctioning for in-store events. Most places aren't able to hold them. Obviously, that raised the question of pre-releases. What about pre-releases? Those are coming up pretty quick. And so here's the deal. I'm going to walk through a bunch of dates. Producer Sean, who is also working from home here, is going to throw up a graphic for us that shows the dates. And then I'll talk through what all of them mean. So to start, we're going to have our big kickoff debut for Ikoria starting April 2nd. So that is a week from today. We're going to start everything up around 7 a.m. Pacific time. And that's going to include the debut of the trailer, previews, all that jazz. Previews then going to last till April 10th. And then we're going to start rolling out the release of Acorrea. So as you're all no doubt aware, shipping is difficult. Stores being open is difficult, and so we made some decisions about when we thought people could actually get stuff. We're going to keep the digital releases, so on MTG Arena and MitGo on April 16th. So you'll still be able to play at home safe on your computers. You'll still be able to play Ikoria at the regular timing, April 16th. Then we're going to roll into April 17th. Ikoria is still going to be released on time in a number of Asian places. It's not every country in Asia. So the graphic says tabletop release Asia Pacific. Specifically, it's going to be China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. Everybody else, we're targeting May 15th. So that's North America, Europe, South America, Australia, and New Zealand. So again, this is an evolving situation. So, things are changing day to day. Things may shift again. We don't think they will. We've talked to a lot of our distributors, a lot of our shipping partners, stores. We think these dates are pretty solid, but again, we just ask for your patience during this time as we figure all of this out. And then people who are asking, so we note in there Ikoria previews, just a little tidbit. They start April 2nd. That weekend, going to be dedicated all to Commander. Commander 2020, that product will be shown all that weekend. We're going to have some really cool things from a bunch of Commander creators. So Star City Games Live, Command Zone, Jumbo Commander, MTG Goldfish, and Commander's Quarters will all be showing off the full deck lists like we did before. There'll be previews from basically anyone in the community who's involved in Commander. So look forward to that. Now, one thing we're very aware of with all of this is that local stores need our help, need your help. They need help during this time because they simply can't stay open in a lot of places. And so there are a number of things that we're doing. Now, I'm going to go through a couple things today. That is not an exhaustive list of everything today. We're not, everything we're talking about today is not it. We've got a number of irons in the fire, so to speak, that we hope will help local game stores, help you connect to local game stores, help them bring in money during this time. And we'll talk about those as they're ready, but we've got a couple interesting things today to speak towards. First, everybody loves Mystery Booster right now. Everybody's really into Mystery Booster. So one thing we will be doing is we will be launching a reprint of Mystery Booster. And then we will be sending WPN member stores an allocation of it when we're able to ship at no charge. So what that means is they will get the boosters. They'll be able to sell Mystery Booster to you. Hopefully, many of them are online and can do it that way. Or by that time they get them, they're able to take orders in person. Basically, what it means is every dollar that you spend on that reprint of Mystery Boosters will go straight to your stores. It won't go anywhere else. So that'll be purely for stores. The next thing that is going to happen immediately is that we are allowing, again, WPN member stores to run events on Magic Online and charge an entry cost of up to $10 per tournament. So they'll handle pricing, they'll handle organization, but it's a way for them to actually run tournaments. A lot of tournaments have a small entry fee and then have prizes and give credit or something like that. And that's obviously really hard to do right now. So one of the things we've done, we've relaxed our terms and conditions, and we've allowed stores to run these sorts of events online for up to $10 per entry. So check with your local game store. They don't have the instructions on that yet. A lot of this is literally being announced right now. We are going to have articles go up on Daily MTG and the WPN site at 3 p.m., which is in approximately 20 minutes. That's going to outline a lot of this. But we've been helping a lot of local game stores set up Discords, set up online communities, set up ways to accept money online that they weren't able to before. And some of that's bearing fruit. Some stores are still getting up to speed. And so definitely check with your local game stores to see if they're running any online tournaments in the meantime. And then later on, they won't have them yet. They won't know exactly how many you're getting, but later on, check with them and see about Mystery Boosters that reprint allocation that will be coming to them later. A couple other things. So those are the two new things we have for today. Again, we're working on a number of other things. We expect to announce more details next week. We're working on a pre-order promotion that we'll talk about on 4.2. We'll have more details on the mystery booster thing next week as well. So definitely stay tuned. You can always check weekly MTG. You can always check daily MTG. There is an article up on Daily MTG right now that's called Wizard of oh my gosh, Wizards of the Coast's response to COVID-19. That article details everything and every communication we've done over the past couple of weeks related to the current crisis. And so it kind of collects it all. So you can always check that article, book that article, check it, come back. We're also posting everything on Daily MTG. So make sure you're keeping up to date with that. And then we'll walk through everything here on Weekly MTG every week as well. So other things that we've already announced this week. So this isn't new, but I just want to make sure people are aware of it. Earlier this week on Monday, as I said earlier, we suspended all in-store play for North America, Europe, and Latin America till at least May 10th. We did allow sales to use their promotional materials. So typically we send stores promotional materials that they can use as prizes for in-store play. We've allowed them to be used as sales incentives because obviously there's no in-store play right now. And then typically our buy a box promotion is only when you go to a store and pick it up. We're allowing stores to send those when they ship those, obviously, right now. Now, please be aware when you contact your local stores about some of these things, about pre-ordering product. There are restrictions and things local stores have to jump through to actually take payment for pre-order products. So please be patient with stores. Please talk to them about exactly what they can and cannot do right now, and help them out any way you can. And we'll have more coming in that space soon too. Then let's talk about ways you can play right now. So like I said, the MTG Arena and Magic Online will have their normal launch of Ikoria on April 16th. In the meantime, we have returned Pharaohs Beyond Death ranked draft. We have made Brawlers Guildhall on Arena at no entry fee. So you can play in both of those. You can play standard. You can play a lot of things. And then we've also launched a program, and this is another way to connect to your local game store, a Friday Night Magic at home. And so the way this works essentially is you connect to your local game store through whatever they've set up. We helped a lot of them set up Discord channels. So if you're on Discord, that's one way to connect to your local game store. And then if you play in this Friday Night Magic event, which I believe begins at midnight Pacific time tonight, around then, and then send a screenshot of your results from that event to your local game store, they actually can send you some codes for MTG Arena to help you connect with them connect with you, and make sure that you know where to go when you want to pre-order or pick up a mystery booster in the future. So the Friday Night Magic event is really cool. It's playing the challenger decks against one another. Next up, let's talk about a couple other not small things. Channel Fireball Events is also doing a lot to help players play at home right now. The first is Magic Fest Online, which is being played on Magic Online. And they have essentially Magic Fest Online is being played on MTG Arena. Basically, you play in 2 qualifiers a day. There are 2 or 3 qualifiers a day. You go 5-1 or better, you qualify for the weekly tournament that awards up to, I think it's $25,000 in prizes. They're also selling something called Magic Fest in a Box, which gives you a Magic Fest-like experience with promos, playmats, that sort of thing. And then if you participate in either of those things, they provide they have the ability for you to use affiliate codes with your local game store. You put in the affiliate code and a percentage of that purchase goes to your local game store as well. So that is another way you can help out local game stores. Additionally, Magic Online is holding Players Tour qualifiers twice a day. That's where I got those mixed up in my head. And so those are a variety of formats, and they're on Magic Online every day. If you head to mitgo.com, you can find a calendar of those events. And then the final update I have is that Secret Lair shipping is going to be delayed. So if you have not yet received a Secret Lair product, it is likely to be delayed a little bit more, not only due to shipping difficulties around the world, but printing facilities closing down, all that kind of stuff. We just ask that you be patient with us, and we will get you your Secret Lair as soon as we are able. So that is what I have for news in that area today. We will do a Q&A at the end of the show. So if you have questions about any of the stuff I've talked about, in about 15 minutes, an article is going to go up on dailymtg.com about a lot of this stuff. Be sure to check that out. And then otherwise, we'll come back at the end and we'll talk through a lot of that stuff. But in the meantime, Steve, who else do we have here?
Blake, first of all, excellent job on that massive info dump of ridiculous amount of information. There's a lot going on here. I'm looking at chat. Chat, I can confirm that I am not a robot, or at least I can confirm to the best of my knowledge that I'm not a robot. We do have something else really exciting here for those of you that are here. I know that there are a lot of Vorthoses out there, a lot of story fans out there that have been really jonesing for some great Magic story. And today we have a special guest that a lot of you have guessed already. That's right, it's Django Wexler, author of The Gathering Storm, War of the Spark companion story, I guess we'd call it. They were delivered through email, very, very popular story for everybody. But yeah, we got Django here, and he is standing by via satellite, let's say via satellite. Django, can you hear us?
I can. There's probably a satellite involved somewhere.
Yeah, right? Somewhere.
Satellites and tubes and the internet, all those things.
Yeah, exactly. That's how everybody's heard about the internet, but how does it actually work? Django, thank you so much for being here. It's really great to have you on the show. You and I actually got to sit on a story panel, I think a couple of years ago at Emerald City Comic Con to talk about Magic Story, and that was really great. And one of the things that I was struck by was how up to speed you were on Magic. So how long have you been a fan, or dare I say, a player of Magic? I mean, what do you like about the game, about the franchise?
It's weird because I started out as a player. I played Magic. God, I'm gonna date myself severely here, but I played Magic back probably starting in about 1997 or 1998, and I played it. That was when I was in high school, so I played it through high school and through college, and I kind of got out of it because I didn't have time anymore.
Life,
but after
none of us know what that's like.
The play. That was also before the revival of and before Friday Night Magic and all that stuff came in and made it like possible to play again. So that's been really great to see. But like I got more into the lore after getting out of the actual playing, and so I read the fiction intermittently, and then I did a huge binge back when Nick Kellman asked me to do this Magic work. I did a huge binge read of like everything going back to the beginning of the Bolas arc and getting all that stuff into my brain. It's great though. It's also like working with the Magic Story team is amazing because they give you these documents, and it's the world guide, and it's got just like endless pictures and backstory details, and it's just the best thing any writer could hope for.
I've seen those world guides, and they're really, really excellent. You've now gotten a chance to look at not just one but two world guides. One for Ravnica, one for Ikoria.
Yeah, and several rounds of the Ravnica one, because there had been the original Ravnica, and so it's been a lot of fun to see how that evolves over time. But yeah, now they've showed me the Acorrea one. Have we said that I'm doing Acorrea?
You're doing Ikoria. You know what? Let's
confirm.
Why don't you introduce Django?
So
what's the title of the book you've written for us?
Oh God! Wait, now I've forgotten the title. Is it Sundered Bonds?
It is Sundered Bond. Yeah,
yes, it is.
It's good. We had a code name while we were writing it, and I'm pretty sure it's not that. And then,
to be fair, the title was decided like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something to that end. Yeah, Sean, why don't you throw up the cover? So we're here to show the cover, the title.
Check that out, chat. Look at that.
Wait, I'm going to click over to the chat and look at it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's real cool.
So there's a mystery character on the front. It looks like he's looking through some kind of crystal. There's a creature in the crystal that's not the mystery man, and then we see Vivian in the background. So we are getting questions. When can you pre-order? The answer is you can pre-order right now. True story. If you head to Amazon.com, you can pre-order the ebook right now. We are, again, going to have a daily MTG article that will be up in 10 minutes. That is going to have a direct link to the pre-order for this. The link's been making the rounds because the pre-order went up already. But yeah, check out dailymtg.com in about 10 to 15 minutes, and there will be an article here that will have the link to pre-order this. And Django, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm just going to tell people it comes out April 7th. So you can pre-order now, and then you can read it starting April 7th.
That's great. That's the first I'm hearing of it. That's also the cover. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a really cool cover. We had some great artists work on that. So Django, without giving too much away, because we're not going to tell who that character.
Let's set expectations here.
Let's set expectations. No plot details today.
None.
Hold on. Right. Plot's gonna start spilling out starting April 2nd. But that character on the cover isn't anyone that Magic's familiar with. So what was it like developing a brand new Magic character and breathing life into them in this world?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, being the first person to take a crack at a character gives you a lot of freedom. Working with the story team, they give you a real sort of outline, and they have a kind of broad idea of how it's going to work. But the actual sort of details of how a character thinks and their sort of emotional story arc is something that's a lot of fun to get to work with as a writer. So that's really great. And it, in a way, it's sort of freeing, because like one of the trickier parts of writing for Ravnica, where there's a bunch of different characters, many of whom we've seen before extensively, is trying to make it kind of match up with previous portrayals of that character. And so in a way, it lets you be a lot more fun and loose. You're sort of laying the foundation. Somebody else is going to have to do the hard part of matching up with me later. So I have the fun part this time. Not that it's not fun writing the existing characters, just a little more painstaking work. It's like building the second story on a house instead of the story.
Well, you mentioned working with the characters in Ravnica, and something we can talk as much as we want about is you work on the Gathering Storm, which was really well received by the community. Talk a little bit about that story. What were your favorite characters? What were your favorite portions to write? What really appealed to you about that project?
Gathering Storm was a ton of fun. I liked the project. It was in a good place of, for me as, having fun with it, of being like, it's part of this long-term story arc, but there wasn't actually all that much tie-in, because we were kind of in this in-between part between the Dominaria storyline and then the War of the Spark storyline. And so I got to do a lot of like interesting stuff. I got to do a lot of Ravnica world building stuff, which I love doing. Just like, how does this plane work? And, what do they eat? Where do people go for fun? That kind of little detail is just something I'm in love with. And so it's great to come up with that. I was always sending the story people emails like, hey, do they have this on Ravnica? Can I put this in the story? Right. So that was a lot of fun. Character-wise, Ral's a lot of fun, obviously. He's this kind of gruff, but like basically has his heart in the right place, at least by the time that I'm working with him. That was fun. Probably my favorite actual part is the big battle between Niv Mizzet and Bolas, which comes towards the end of the second half, which was just like I think I was talking to Nick and I was like, do we want to do that off screen or should we actually show it? Because we don't have like a Niv Mizzet POV. And he's like, no, you got to show it and like pull out all the stops. And so he just like made that as big and epic as we could possibly make it. So that was a good time. The key there was realizing that it's basically a kaiju battle, right? It's like Godzilla versus Mothra, right? Because there's both dragons. So it's like as much of the city should be ripped up as possible in the process.
You've had a lot of experience now working with Magic with the Gathering Storm, but this is a completely new world. Nobody's ever been to Ikoria before, and certainly the character that you're writing. Can we say the name of the character?
No.
We can't even do that.
Nope.
Can't say anything.
Nope.
Can't say anything.
I am
nothing.
The fun police.
Can't say anything.
No.
But absent being able to say literally anything about the story that you wrote,
a character goes on a journey.
A character goes on a journey.
Things are challenging for them.
Things happen.
They overcome some of those challenges, but not all of those challenges. More challenges arise.
Friends may be made. Enemies may also be made.
The hero with 1,000 faces. It's all the same.
What was the biggest challenge of writing this story for you, especially after having one under your belt already?
I'm trying to think how to say stuff without doing it. The biggest challenge, and this was true a little bit in Gathering Storm as well, is where things have to hook up to the larger universe, because it gives you these fixed points that you can't necessarily adjust, right? It feels in many ways like you're building a sort of bridge between one fixed point and the next. You can tweak everything that happens in between, but you can't change the fixed points. The story I tell people when they ask what it was like to write for Magic, and they're like, how much freedom did you have? And I said, well, this is from Return to Ravnica. They were like, okay, well, we've got these guys and we think this guy works for Bolas, but he could be a good guy or whatever. And like, it was like relatively worked out, but like I could change stuff if I really felt strongly about it and could make a good argument. But they're like, but on the other hand, this character and this character meet up and they're standing on a bridge and character A hands character B a sword. And that has to happen because some artist has been drawing it for 3 months.
Yeah.
We can't change it now. And so there's a little bit of that, right? That you get, by the time they bring me in, the cards are kind of underway. They don't like have final text, but they have a lot of art. And so they show me this slideshow of the stuff that absolutely has to be in there, these scenes that have to be in there. And so it's kind of like writing around to make that flow as a story.
You kind of touched on it there, but can you talk a little bit about how do you, when you're writing magic fiction, how do you balance your voice with that of Magic's, I guess I would say?
I mean, for me, I don't worry too much about my voice. That I know it'll come through anyway. It's not something I can really help. And so for me, it's mostly how to get as much of the Magic stuff in there as possible, because I really want this to feel like a Magic story. I want it to feel like it's part of this larger universe, so that people who are following these characters can like get what they want from the characters, and it doesn't feel like they're kind of like changing trajectory or whatever. And so I tend to push on it from that end, and like, constantly looking back to, where things were before. I read the other stories and sort of try to get a sense of how the characters talk, that kind of thing. That as for my side of it, like that's just going to happen. I can only write as myself, so there's no worry about that.
Yeah. What you can't write as somebody else. You can't write as
and it's funny, like
as Charles Dickens. That's crazy.
I know some writers who can do the kind of stunt writing where it's like, watch me impersonate Stephen King or Brandon Sanderson or whatever. But I'm not that good.
I know that you mentioned that you were a Magic player from way back. What was your favorite deck that you played? What was your favorite deck? Gonna put you on the spot here a little bit. Even
play with back then. This is going back to like my childhood, right? I can remember playing Magic at summer camp, and I think I was the first one in our like little circle at camp to realize that you didn't have to play with every card that you owned.
That's a powerful tool.
That's
early
could,
on.
like,
as soon as you realize, you're like, whoa,
right? And you didn't have to have all the colors
I can make
either.
2 decks
I think I was also the first one. I made a deck with no creatures in it, and it was all just like Fireball and Lightning Bolt and Wrath of God, and that was like it blew my friends' minds.
Classic. I love it. So would you say that that's sort of still your approach to playing Magic today, or would be your approach to playing Magic today?
I honestly don't know, because I haven't played like constructed Magic forever. I'm just like not up enough on the way things work and the meta and any of that to like do any constructed. So the few times I have played Magic recently have all been draft. So
nice. I love draft. Draft is my favorite.
I love it because it lets me, like, obviously I still lose, but like it lets me feel like I am actually able to participate in a way that, like, you know, if going in a constructed format would not. I always feel like my problem is that I'm too competitive to just like go into a game and lose all the time, but I don't have enough time to actually be good at it anymore. So I don't even try.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, Blake and I have no idea what that's
no
like.
clue.
Yeah, because we're made of time.
Oh, like I said, we moved the stream time because my child's nap interfered.
We did.
I set the stream up sharing a wall with his room. That was a mistake.
Like, that just seems like poor planning. Like, that just seems like very poor
all
planning.
the pretty things are on the walls in this room. So do what you can.
Badly configured. All my collectibles are either outside or like up there.
Yeah. So Django, I'm going to lead you a little bit with this one. Would you write another Magic story if we asked you?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've had a ton of fun with these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And they fall into a nice sweet spot of size and time in my schedule. So I would definitely do that.
Now, you said you did some research before you wrote these and The Gathering Storm. Do you have a favorite Magic novel not written by you?
Ooh, good question.
That's tough. I mean, everyone goes back to Arena, which was out. That was from like way back.
I love it. It's my favorite too.
Continuity.
Yep.
And like, I'm tempted to say that, but honestly, I haven't read it in 20 years, so I don't know if it holds up.
It holds up.
It's good.
I read it.
It's literally still down in my library. I have basically every book I've ever owned. And
now's the perfect time to give it a reread, I guess.
Yeah, so fun fact, while you think about what your number 2 choice is, I actually tried to contact that author at one point in time to do like a follow-up story, just like, hey, you wrote this book way back when, what do you think of it? Because he's a legit longtime science fiction author and fantasy. And I never heard back. So it's not actually that fun a story, but I tried.
It's too bad. Sometimes that happens. I found out one of my favorite fantasy authors like just stopped being an author and went in to do like game design, and so like he does stuff and never wrote any more books in that series.
Yeah. Just stopped the series and was like, I'm done with this. Anyway, did you come up with a second favorite?
I really liked Ixalan. I had a lot of fun. Like in one of my favorite parts of doing Ravnica was getting to work with Vraska and getting sort of fleshing out her character. And I feel like that got such a great set of growth in Ixalan that that kind of made that my favorite. She's one of my favorite characters.
Nice.
Love that Gorgon. Love that Gorgon.
I have a weakness.
She'll turn you to stone, though. She'll do it.
Who are like conflicted.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, Django, is there anything not spoilery that you would like to say to fans?
Is there anything you want to say about the work that you did that has nothing to do with the work?
Don't say anything about the work that you did to entice fans to go pre-order or to at least think about it.
This is like a brain teaser.
Yeah, I know.
I think you guys will have fun with it. Obviously I can't say any specific reasons why you might have fun with it, but I had a really good time writing it. There's a lot of characters that I thought were fun, and the world of Ikoria is great, and the team, that came up with it has really outdone themselves. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing all the finished art, because we only had like some of it. And, so that was really cool to work with. So yeah, give that a pre-order. You will not be disappointed, I hope.
Django Wexler says, you will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed.
The Django Wexler guarantee. Django, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited for this book. You can pre-order it right now. There should be a link going up on dailymtg.com shortly. If it's not up there already, that will take you right to the Amazon pre-order page. You can pre-order it now. It is called Sundered Bond. It will be out April 7th. And you'll start learning more about that mysterious character on April 2nd. That's where we'll start putting out some story nuggets and giving.
It's going to be really interesting because like there's only a week in between there. I think for the Ravnica books, because of the delay, everyone I felt like had the cards like months before the story actually came out. So I was like reading Reddit and people's speculation. It's very different.
Yeah, we prefer to do things this way. So so we are excited that players are going to get their hands on this story. Definitely check out Sundered Bond. Django, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Chat, we are going to stick around for a couple minutes and answer some questions.
It's question time.
I love it. Question time.
I love it.
I've written down a few, but chat, if you have more questions, put them in chat and we will answer them as best as we can. First, to reiterate, no, we have done no previews, no spoilers today. Everything is kicking off next week on April 2nd. That's Thursday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So that is approximately, wherever you are in the world, that is approximately 8 hours earlier than whatever time it is now. We will debut the trailer. We will show preview cards. We will talk mechanics. There will be so much going on April 2nd. It's a whole big thing. It's going to be happening all day. That's going to be followed by a giant monster-sized Commander weekend where Friday through Monday, it's going to be so much Commander all coming at your face. It's going to be super fun. So definitely stick around for that. We've also gotten some questions about pre-release, how pre-release is going to work now. So basically what's happened is pre-release release weekends are the same thing. So the April 17th date for the countries in Asia that we listed earlier, that is going to be pre-release release. You can get pre-release packs, you can get boxes, you can get commander decks. When Ikoria is out, wherever you are in the world, it's just all going to be out. You can still run pre-release events. There are going to be pre-release packs. You can do pre-releases from home. If it's safe and your store is open, stores can run pre-release like events with pre-release packs. So definitely check that out wherever in the world you are, if it's safe. Let's see. Let's go with, okay, we talked about the trailer. Someone did ask earlier if there is still an arena preview event. So we usually have a preview event the day before the set releases digitally. That is still happening. There were questions about the Pharaohs story. I don't have any news about the Pharaohs story right now. There are discussions about if we released something at some point in time, but I don't have any news for you right now. When will Commander 2020 release? It is releasing the same dates as Acorrea. So all those dates we put up on the screen are the same for Acorrea, except for digital. So note that the Commander product is not legal and standard, so it's not coming to Arena, and it's not going to be on MidGo at the same time. So keep that in mind.
To the person that keeps asking where I got my pin, I got it at PAX East last year.
We get that question like every week.
A lot. People really like it. I love this pin. It's like I picked it up at PAX East specifically so I could wear it for this show. But yeah, that's where I got it from.
Here, Django, I think you're still with us.
I am.
Great. Someone's just asking, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm here in Redmond, which, obviously everything here in Washington State is shut down. But since I'm a writer, I work from home and my wife works from home. So it's kind of not that much change for me. So it's more just like trying not to read the news constantly and freak out. But other than that, I'm getting stuff done. I've got a book coming out in July, which I'm very excited about. So working up on some stuff for that.
Nice. Okay, great question. If my store is closed, how can I get a pre-release pack? So
this is a great question.
This is a great question. So the WPN's been doing a lot of work lately to help a lot of local stores get set up with online ordering and shipping. Now, if your local game store has been able to get that set up, great. See if you can find them. Check our store and event locator. A lot of stores have updated their information to have a website or a Discord channel, or some way to keep in touch with them. So that's your first step. See if they have an online setup and community and are able to ship. They may not be able to. They might not be able to get to their store. They may not be able to get shipments in. They might have had to furlough or lay off staff or anything like that. So you may not be able to get pre-release packs, at least in the short term at your local store. We are allowing them to sell those and let you take them home. Normally, pre-release packs have to be bought and played in the store. But basically, any way that a store can get you, whether it's curbside pickup, shipping, they're allowed to do with pre-release packs. So hopefully you can take that home and have some kind of experience. If not, you may have to wait until your store is able to open again. And then if there are other local stores near you, we definitely encourage you, support any local store around you. Obviously support your favorite local store, but if there are other local stores near you that are WPN members and have pre-release packs and have ways to ship things online or order online, please support them. So unfortunately, it's not a very direct answer. The answer is basically check with your stores, make sure you're being safe, all of that.
And that's really the most important thing. Like if you're a part of a local community, keep in touch with that community. You know, a lot of these stores have Facebook pages. They have social media presences. You can contact them however you can just to see how you can support them and see what they're doing for their particular store. Because it's very much your community may have different rules than other communities will.
Yeah. Another good question. How will paper sanction legality be affected by the staggered release and subsequent availability issues? So the short version is that we have suspended all tabletop play until at least May 10th. And then the worldwide release is May 15th. So technically, cards are legal once they release at the earliest date. So when they release in the Asian countries that we named earlier, they will be legal for standard play. They will also release digitally, of course, and will be legal there. So they will technically be legal. There just won't be tabletop events in those parts of the world because they've been suspended until at least May 10th. So it should, technically they will be legal, but there won't be those tabletop events to play them in. But very good question. Is Core Set 2021 going to come out less than 2 months from Ikoria? Right now, the release date for the Core Set has not changed. But again, as with every date that we're talking about right now, we ask that you be understanding and flexible with us. It's a evolving situation, and things are changing so fast right now. We're returning to a more stable kind of world, not really.
We're getting used to
more regular cadence,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it's a new normal, I guess, is the better way to say it. Do you have any recommended platforms for digital magic, like a way to play by webcam or online groups? So there are a number of ways to do it. We don't recommend any specific one, but we have been doing a lot of work with Discord. So local game stores, one of the cool things, actually the Discord team helped us set up really fast, was templatized servers for individual game stores. We're literally click, boom, your game store has a Discord server. So that is going to be where a lot of people already are. So if you're looking for people, if you're looking for communities, there's a lot that are going to exist on Discord. Facebook communities are also going to exist because a lot of WPN stores had, if they didn't have a website, they often had a Facebook presence. And so that's one good way to find people. But we don't have any one in particular that we recommend over another. You can use any kind of chat or web talking feature and do pretty well. I'm going to be trying one out tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be playing Commander with the Commander 99 crew and trying a little tabletop streaming. We'll see how that goes.
Blake, one of the comments here was wondering whether or not we're going to be doing shows like this, our shows like this from now on.
Yeah. We're going to be here every Thursday. This is just like Steve said, it's our new normal.
I missed you guys too much.
We did.
Yeah.
We like doing this show. We like being in touch with all of you, and we want to tell people the things that are happening. There's a lot happening right now. So we are going to be here every week. We can give you a sneak peek at next week's show. Steve, who's on next week's show?
Who is on next week's show? I believe is next week Mark Rosewater?
Yeah, Rosewater. Yes.
Mark Rosewater. I believe next week is Mark Rosewater, and also is it Dave Humphreys?
It is a Dave Humphreys.
Dave Humphreys and Mark Rosewater will be here next week to discuss. Definitely not. No, I'm kidding. It's Ikoria. They'll be here to discuss discuss Ikoria. That is April 2nd, or April 2nd show. So you know everything that we say is going to be true on that show because it's not on April 1st. Yep. But we're really excited to have Mark and Dave come onto the show. You'll get to hear them talk about some Acorrea stories. And Blake, I believe, will we have a preview card on that show?
We will have a couple preview cards on.
We will have some preview cards on that show. So set your clocks. 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I believe that's the time.
That is the time.
2:30 p.m. Pacific, so as not to interfere with Blake's kid's nap.
True.
Yeah. And we'll be talking about Acorrea. You'll have a lot of information coming your way that day. So looking forward to it. And it's honestly, you're not going to want to miss it. There are so many cool things about this set that I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah. Let's bring Django back into this because we've got 2 questions for Django.
Yes.
I hope this isn't a reference to something I don't understand, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's the faster one. What is your favorite way to cut a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
If that's a reference to something I don't know what it is.
Great. What's your favorite way to cut a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I generally don't, because then it gets all mucky. I just eat, your knife gets all
okay,
and the bread squishes out the sides. I just eat
purist.
it.
Fair purist. I love it.
Blake,
how do you cut your peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
In half, not corner to corner, horizontally or vertically, or whatever you want to call it.
Peanut butter is better with bread and butter pickles than with jelly.
What?
Whoa. Hold on. Say that again.
Okay,
say that. No, this is really. Say that again. I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Lay out your sandwich, cover bread with peanut butter, and then lay out bread and butter pickles and eat it. Guaranteed, it's great.
Oh wow, my God. We're gonna move on before you start losing fans. There is a great question. Here's a really good question for you. This is the question I actually want to ask you. What was it like writing Ral's backstory, especially considering you were taking such an established character and writing a really intense story?
It was both a lot of fun, but also kind of a lot of pressure for exactly that reason. I had a ton of freedom with it because it had never really been talked about and it wasn't on any of the cards. So I could do almost anything I wanted with that story, with the exception, of course, that, I was working with the story team. So it's not like I just went off and did my own thing. I came up with an outline and ran it by them and they were like, oh, that's cool. And we changed some stuff to account for some things. But so both a lot of fun, but yeah, there's this sense that there's this character and a lot of people like him and I really don't want to screw this up. So there's a little high pressure. I was glad that people mostly seem to enjoy it.
Cool. Next question, not about peanut butter and jelly. So we had a question about how does the promo pack being used for sales incentive work exactly? It's going to vary from store to store. Basically, if they want to give it away, if you buy a booster box, that is a thing they can do. If they want to give it away for sales over $50, that is a thing they can do. So there's a variety of ways it might work. Is there no pre-release on Mitgo Arena? There are pre-releases on Mitgo and Arena, so the normal slate of pre-release events will apply for those digital platforms. Is Stormcrow in the set? No, I'm just going to tell you that right now.
No Stormcrow on Acorrea. None of that.
By
the way, great questions, everybody. You guys should keep them coming if you can. We're happy to answer as many as we can in the time.
There's a question about Commander 2020 previews being in the next weekend. Just to clarify that's not this upcoming weekend, like not starting tomorrow. It is the following weekend. So
the weekend of
3rd through the 6th.
3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for those of you who don't do dates.
Yeah.
Just days of the week.
Let's see. Yeah. Someone is confirming there are articles on the website now. So if there is any information you just want to comb through, either about Sundered Bond by Django Wexler or about all of the things we announced with Ikoria and the ways we're helping local game stores today, all of that stuff is on dailymtg.com right now. It's is the ebook coming to services other than Kindle? I think it's an ebook. You can download it and use it on any ebook reader, I believe, but I am no ebook scientist. So
I'm no ebook scientist.
Are there other Magic lore books coming out this year? You know what? There is one I want to talk about that we were going to have the author of that one on this show, but you know, the whole streaming from home thing's a little different. But and I'm forgetting. Steve, help me out with the name.
Is this the Abrams book?
Yes. So Jay and Nelly, he's a prominent story guru in the community. So, and then we started using him to kind of help out behind the scenes. And then he wrote a thing.
I believe it's called Magic the Gathering Legends: A Visual History by Jay Anelli.
Yes.
Coming soon, coming July 7 from Abrams Comics Arts.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. That's going to so Jay Anelli, if you don't know, is one of the people in the community who knows the most about Magic lore. Just the most.
He was introduced to me as the official lore master.
Which is our official
corporate
lore
title
master
I've ever heard.
Yeah. And he knows more than anyone else about lore, and just because he loves it. And now because we're paying him to do it on occasion. But he started out as just someone who loved Magic lore so much that he knew it backwards and forwards. So that is one other book to check out. And then we did say a little bit that we have Magic Story coming. So yes, there will be more. Thank you, Blaze1013. We appreciate that. I do not understand all the questions about Kithkin, but sure.
Can I say a thing?
Absolutely.
If people have questions for me specifically, keeping in mind that I can't give any spoilers, I'm doing an AMA on our fantasy tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So drop by and ask some questions. I'll be talking about my books, but also Magic stuff. Any of the Magic stuff I'm allowed to talk about.
Very cool.
Which is not much. So
well, anything from Ravnica, just not anything from Ikoria.
Yep.
Yes.
There's a question. My store is doing a home pre-release on April 17th. Has that changed? I already paid. So the answer to that is I do not know because I don't know where you're located and I don't know what local regulations are in place. What I would suggest is check with your local store. It may be something that they're able to ship you that kit, or that there is pickup. I don't know where you are in the world. I don't know if they they shouldn't have already received shipments, but definitely check with your local store, and they'll let you know exactly what's going on there.
When in doubt, always check with your local store. If you sign up for an event at your local store, please get in contact with them. I'm sure that they would very much like to be able to give you that information as well.
Yeah. What's the status of the Jumpstart release, both on paper and arena? Currently, no changes. Is Jaya Ballard named after Ballard in Seattle? You know what? I feel like I asked someone that in the building that question once and got like a fuzzy answer. I honestly don't know.
Say yes. Who's going to contradict you?
That's fair.
Oh my god.
Here's a fun question. We brought back the Brushwag creature type. Is there a Brushwag Planeswalker? So this is a reference to Mark Rosewater and Gavin Verhey both released a bunch of hints about Ikoria that were pretty fun, and in them, they listed some creature types, and one of them was Brushwag. The Planeswalker is not a Brushwag. I'll spoil that right now. Sure. But if you haven't checked them out already and you're interested in Acorrea, just tidbits, just look for Mark Rosewater's Blogatog, and Gavin Verhey, I think, is doing a lot of his stuff on Instagram and Twitter right now. I don't know what those are off the top of
Kithkins. One of my favorite songs is Onward Kithkin Soldiers. So yes, I do like Kithkins.
Yeah. Questions about our Challenger decks still going to be available next Friday? That is an excellent question. First of all, if your local game store is closed, no, it's not. But can people sell them if they have them available? Absolutely. We're not pushing that date back, but note that there are shipping challenges in all parts of the world. Now, the Challenger decks aren't part of the Ikoria shipment. I'm not sure on the status of the shipment, so don't take anything I say as gospel. This is going to be another one. Check with your local game stores. Check online. They may be for sale on Amazon, although I know Amazon has restricted a lot of what it is shipping at this time. So we have not placed any restrictions on Challenger decks going out. But as through all of this, it's just going to vary for a little bit as distribution centers, as stores have difficulty shipping things and getting these things. I was going to attend to my first GP in Copenhagen in a few months, and given the unfortunate situation of Corona, I don't assume it will take place. Will online events be made to replace GP events? So Magic Fests have moved online for the time being. Channel Fireball Events is running them currently. So if you look up Channel Fireball Events, Magic Fest, you can Google it. It'll take you there. Basically, the gist is there are qualifiers running all day, every day on MTG Arena. You go 5 or 1 and better. No, not all day, but like there's a couple of them that start each day. You go 5 and 1 or 6 and 0 in one of those. It qualifies you for a weekly tournament, and that's kind of our Magic Fest competitive experience for right now. So definitely check out channelfireballevents.com, especially since if you use your local store's affiliate code, some of that money will go back to your local game store. Man, there are so many good questions.
These are great. Well done, guys.
I am just getting will Pioneer get a set like Modern Horizons eventually? Maybe. I don't have anything to announce on that, but it's definitely a thing we could do. I just want to make sure that I get to, because there are a lot of good questions. Okay, so the person who said they're in the United States, they're pre-released on the 17th. I would imagine it is unlikely that your local store is going to even have product on April 17th in the United States. I don't believe it will be possible, so I would definitely contact them and check on that. Stores are going to do whatever they feel is best, and it may be that they say, hey, we've taken your money's still good. We will get you a pre-release pack when we can. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I would encourage you, if you can, support your local game store, and just kind of let that ride and wait till this is over to get your pre-release pack. I would encourage you to do so. But of course, everyone's going to be in a different situation right now. So do what is best for you and your family, and help out where you can, where you're able. So many Kithkin questions and comments. Here's a good question. Are you concerned an early digital release could affect the ability for local game stores to sell product? It's definitely something that we discussed a lot. Should we move the digital release with the paper release and all that? Ultimately, we decided that we do have some knobs we can turn and some ways we can help the local game stores for example, with the Mystery Booster reprint that's coming, that's going to be essentially given to them for no charge. And then things like letting them run tournaments online. There are some knobs we can turn to help them out in the interim, but we also have to think about the players at home. The players at home who we hear every day just want something to do, just want to be able to play the set. So it's something we're astutely aware of, and there's a lot we're working on behind the scenes to help out local game stores. But the goal, but we want people to have fun. Ultimately and be happy and find things to do during this time too as well. So there's a lot to balance, and we are in unprecedented territory. We were talking about this with Django beforehand. Basically no one alive has any experience in anything like this. You go back to 1918, the flu epidemic, and the world was very different back then. We didn't have internet. We couldn't stream and talk to each other this way. So we are in unprecedented territory. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us and being understanding. Let's see. We are just about out of time. So I want to make sure that I get to any other
questions that we can actually answer. Yeah.
There's some good questions on here that I can answer. And sorry, I'm not ignoring. There's a good question about children and the nameless and stuff like that, but I want to make sure we hit on the topics that we discussed today.
For all the people in chat asking about specifics for Ikoria, April 2nd.
April 2nd
is when you will find out more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so let's wrap things up here. Steve, tell the fans again, what is all happening on April 2nd?
There's a lot happening on April 2nd, but if you tune back into this show at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, our special guests will be Mark Rosewater and Dave Humphreys. We'll be talking about Acorrea. We'll have some Acorrea preview cards, and I can't say anything else because that would constitute major spoilers, so you definitely want to tune in and check it out.
We are definitely not doing something on April 1st. That is just... Ever since I started Wizards of the Coast, we're just like, no, we're not doing that.
No April 1st stream.
No
April 1st stream.
No, that is not.
None of them.
But again, if you love Magic Story or you love Django Wexler, and who doesn't, definitely go check out the pre-order for Sundered Bond. It is available now to pre-order, and then it will come out April 7th. So after our big debut moment on the 2nd, books come out on Tuesdays. The things you learn these days. But ebooks come out on Tuesdays, April 7th. So Django, thank you again for joining us. Thank you, everyone at home, for tuning in. We love chatting with all of you and spending this time with you. Stay safe, and we will see you next week.